Well, I have a couple thoughts I want to share with you today. I'm calling this devotional Rule Your Spirit. Now, that's a little bit of a different sounding title, but it's actually taken from a couple of scriptures in the book of Proverbs. The first one is in Proverbs 16, verse 32, and it says, "He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city." And then in Proverbs 25:28, it says, "Whoever has no rule over his own spirit is like a city broken down and without walls." Both of them use that term, rule your spirit, or ruling your spirit. And, the idea is, of course, we're to surrender our lives to Christ. We're to yield our lives and our will to Him. But in the end, we still make choices. We have a free will and we make decisions. And that's what the writer of Proverbs is speaking to, the decisions that we make in our lives. In Galatians 5:23, where we read about the fruit of the Spirit, one of those is self-control. The Holy Spirit gives us that ability, but we still make the choice. We still have to make the right decisions and use the time and the resources and everything that God has given us wisely. And in so doing, we exercise self-control with the help of the Holy Spirit. I know that I'm painting with kind of a broad brush when I say this, because everyone's circumstance is different than the next person. But for all of us, our normal has been upended. Our normal has been altered. And so whether you find yourself, as some probably do, find themselves busier than ever. Maybe you're a parent with school-age children and they're at home and you're trying to homeschool them for the first time. Maybe you're a healthcare worker. Maybe you have some other essential job and you're working a ton of overtime because of the demand. So, some of us are in that place in our lives. Others are home a lot more than they're used to, and we're trying to abide by the restrictions that have been set forth so that we can get through this difficult time. So no matter where you are, again, our normal has been upended. So that's why it's so important that we have that inner strength that God provides. But again, we make the decisions, but we have that inner strength to rule our spirit, to use the time and the resources that God has given to us wisely. That is so, so important, that we're stewarding the things that God has given to us. There's a phrase, and the phrase is intrinsic motivation, and the opposite of that is extrinsic motivation. And they're pretty much what they sound like. Intrinsic motivation means that you can motivate yourself from within. You have that degree of self-control and self-discipline. And that's the ultimate thing. That's the better of the two, obviously. Extrinsic motivation, you kind of need somebody on the outside prodding you or looking over your shoulder and telling you, hey, now it's time to do this or that or whatever. We need to be motivated inwardly, intrinsically. That's so important. And it applies to every area of life. I was reading this quote. It's credited to James Madison, one of our founding fathers. He said this, he said, "We have staked the future of all our political institutions upon the capacity of each and all of us to govern ourselves, to control ourselves, to sustain ourselves according to the 10 Commandments of God." Isn't that an amazing statement? That's the way this whole American experiment was designed, that people have self-control, that they are intrinsically motivated, that we know how to rule our spirit, and specifically according to the commandments of God. And to the degree that we can do that, we have greater freedom. And to the degree that our society cannot do that, then our freedoms are taken away more and more. So essentially, Madison is saying what those scriptures in Proverbs say, that we need to be able to rule our spirit. So I hope that's an encouragement to you. I hope it prods you a little bit and it helps you in your life and helps you stay focused. And just, again, it comes from the Lord. He gives us the ability, but we've got the choices to make. And I pray that it's an encouragement to you and you make those good choices. God bless. Again, have a great day. I'll see you next time.